Hey there, hey friends, Ken here, your Thrifty Apprentice. Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to World Watercolor Month, friends. I am so excited. July 2025 is the kickoff sponsored month for World Watercolor Month. Now, if you are not familiar with it, it is a 31-day challenge where you are giving different prompts to paint across those 31 days. It is a absolutely wonderful challenge that not only supports the art community, but supports education for kids and does a lot of donation around the art creative world and community. Definitely go check out worldwatercolormonth.com or the sponsored website, which is doodlewash.com, if you want to read up more on it. And I encourage everyone to join in, at least give it a try. You don't have to necessarily paint all 31 days, but just try it out. It is a wonderful challenge, and it's geared towards basically just getting you in the mood or getting you used to practicing, and hopefully after 31 days of that constant practice, you will see growth and improvement in your watercolor creating. Now, I did complete World Watercolor Month in its entirety last year. I'm not sure if I'll get to do it this year, but it is definitely my hope and my dream to. And outside of tackling the 31 days of the normal challenge, I'm also, going to be challenging myself to do two additional things during this month. And that's working on birds as well as wood. It is my plan to try to incorporate birds and or wood into as many of the 31 creations as I can. Not to say that I'll get it into all of them, but I'm definitely going to give it a shot, hoping that at the end of all of this, not only would I have progressed just in my overall watercolor journey, but also in the creation, in the detailing of birds, as well as different types of wood, painting them in the medium of watercolor. So root me on. And hopefully, at the end of all of this, when we get to the end of the month and do a flip through, I will have some really nice creations to show you. So this creation that we're tackling today is prompt 2 or day 2 of World Watercolor Month, which is Espresso. Now, what I want to try to do with World Watercolor Month is make sure that all of my paintings are actually complete compositions. In the past, I may have just taken the prompt, the word, so to speak, and just painted whatever that was literally. But I want to try to dive a little bit deeper below the surface this year, take those prompts, see what inspiration I get from the word that's given, and try my best to complete a full composition. So here we have a kind of espresso coffee drink. I call it a butterscotch mocha espresso. Don't know, just something off the top of my head. And I'm doing it in a glass jar on a wooden table, or should I say a glass mug on a wooden table with a straw. And I'm going to sort of give it a kitchen or dining room feel by putting a wallpaper design on the background, but I'm actually going to do that with stencil and water-soluble dye-based ink, and we'll get to that shortly. But 98% of this is going to be done using watercolors. Now, I'm painting on 140-pound cold-pressed acid-free Arteza watercolor paper. I have been tackling this sketchbook for a while. My main issue with it is that because I've had it about 2, maybe 3 years now, the sizing on the paper is going bad. But because I don't like to throw things away without using them up in their entirety, I'm still pushing through and forcing myself to do paintings in this sketchbook until I use it up. The paints that I'm using are the Sennelier La Petite Aquarelle watercolor set. This is Sennelier student grade watercolor line. This is a 12 half pan set, and I just threw in an additional half pan of paint. Now that is a brown. I can't remember the color name because she gives her paints really whimsical color names, but that's a brown, and if I had to give it an artist name, I would probably call it a burnt umber, and it's from Christy Rice's Art for Joy's Sake palette. And I put it in here to kind of augment the set simply because the burnt sienna or burnt umber, I think it's called the burnt umber, that came in the La Petite Aquarelle set, does seem a bit weak to me, and that Christy Rice brown is really saturated and punchy. So I just kind of threw it into the set just to kind of help out, especially when making my neutrals and darks. The brush you just saw me using in order to put texture on the actual tabletop itself is known as an Aqualon whisk brush. Definitely check those out. They're made by Royal and Langnickel. They're a very unique brush, and they help so much with putting in texture, like on wood, doing foliage, putting grass, different things of that nature. Just a lot of different uses. I don't really normally recommend specialty brushes, but if you ever get a chance to try one of those out, I definitely recommend you do. I don't think you will regret it. Now, at this point, I've basically kind of gotten most of the espresso itself painted in. I've gone ahead and started to put in the shadows and the reflection of colors into the mug to really make it look like glass. We tackled the tabletop, which I kind of mixed browns and reds. I was going for more of a red wood feel with this tabletop versus the normal wood tabletops that I do, which are typically brown. And I used that Aqualon whisk brush that I was talking about earlier in order to put in the detail for the wood. Now, at this point, what you see me doing is I'm tackling the background of the composition. I told you I kind of wanted to give it almost a wallpaper feel, so I went digging through some stencils that I have. Many of them haven't even been opened yet. I got the stencils from Temu. And I decided after finding one that had this really nice leafy motif, that's what I would use to kind of put in what would be the wallpaper or the background to the setting for the espresso. So I blocked off everything that I did not want to cover with any of the ink coloring. And I actually took my traceable that I used to transfer the project onto my watercolor paper, and I cut out the actual espresso itself. You guys saw me cut that out with paper. That way I could make a mask to cover up my painting. That way I wouldn't get any of this beautiful green water-soluble ink that I used in the background on it. Once I got everything covered, I simply lifted the mask off of the espresso, off of the tabletop, which I had covered. And now I'm going in to add shadow. I'm going to put shadow under my espresso, shadow under my little coffee beans that I have on the table. I'm going to be doing things like adding in the nails, just those final details in order to make everything look good, kind of bring it together and make it an entire composition. You also are going to see me grab the sponge that I used to put that ink in the background through the stencil and a wet brush, and I'm going to pour some of that ink off and make a wash. That way I can kind of put reflections of that green background into the glass, because all of the colors around a glass object would be reflecting in it. And at this point I'm adjusting shadows and eventually going in with bleed proof to put in highlights and wrap everything up. Friends, it was really fun busting this out, showing you what I did for this particular day of World Watercolor Month. Don't forget, you can slow the video down with the gear on the side if it's moving too fast and you need it to move a little slower. Thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget to hit the like button, share the video, because sharing is caring. Subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll know when we upload, when we go live. Please don't forget to comment. Let me know what you think of this particular composition. Are you trying World Watercolor Month? If so, are you up to pace? Do you need to catch up? Just what are your plans for the month of July? I would really like to know. Share in the comment section. You can check the video description for all of the relevant links. That includes Patreon and all of the social media sites. And that's going to wrap up today's paintings, my friends. Remember, as I tell you at the end of every single video, just keep creating.